set a record, right? That's the that sounds funny to say, the biggest face. We call those faces here on the show. People who come on at the beginning of 7:30, 8:30, half hour and say hello. I don't think we've ever had that many. Let's have a new competition. Let's get the entire city of Chicago out.
How many can you get? Say it all at one time.
That's great. All those folks at Eurodisney out to say hello. There was a grand... We should say hello.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm John London.
And I'm Gibson. Right? Okay, that's done.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. It's April 13th. But the Eurodisney thing yesterday opened up.
It happened, finally.
Huge. A lot of people, a lot of the intellectuals in France or whatever complaining, but the kids didn't complain. They turned out, loved it, of course. In a few moments, we're going to get a closer look from Steve Fox, who's in France at Europe's brand new Disneyland, about 20 miles outside of Paris. Euro Disneyland, they're calling it. Despite being surrounded by controversy, it is expecting about 11 million visitors in the first year. And Steve is going to show us how opening day went in just a few moments.
And they can all leave going da 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 da. See, I did it to you now.
She started humming this earlier in the day, and I can't get it out of my mind.
All day long.
That's right.
Also ahead, Earth Day, 1992.
Before 8 o'clock, Magic Kingdom extended its borders over the weekend all the way across the sea to Europe, France to be exact. And Steve Fox is there. He got to try the rides yesterday. He's at the newest of the French attractions, which is giving the Eiffel Tower a run for its money. Steve?
Good morning, Charlie. It may have been Disney magic. It may have been a very well-organized, extremely well-disciplined corporate machine. Whatever, the effect was the same. Despite a rail strike, despite the threat of massive traffic jams, despite what was apparently an attempt to sabotage the park's electric system, what has been described as the largest American operation in Europe since the Normandy invasion opened its doors an hour early yesterday to accommodate the crowds that have been waiting to get in since before dawn. Inaugural activities at the park began Saturday night with a star-studded party that was televised around much of the world. Sunday morning's official opening ceremonies culminated years of effort and collaboration between Disney officials and 4 different French prime ministers. Throughout, Michael Eisner was at Disney's helm.
I spent 8 years in the development process of this place, and I had no idea how good it would be.
The total cost of this enormous undertaking, including the purchase of 5,000 acres of land, the equivalent of 1/5 the size of Paris, has been estimated at between $4 to $6 billion. That includes 6 new hotels with more than 5,000 rooms. Mickey Steinberg was in charge of construction.
I'm very proud of the fact that we brought this project in on time and on budget.
It strikes me that you had to kind of walk a line in creating a Euro Disney while still retaining that Americana stuff of the Old West, Main Street USA, that so many people liked. How did you do that?
Well, first of all, we decided that Disney is Disney, and we couldn't come to Europe and try to be something we're not.
Americans who have visited a Disney park back home would find this place very familiar, though it has fewer attractions and higher prices, $45 a day for adults, $30 for kids. Plus, the Euro Disney architecture is subtly different. Take, for example, the trademark castle.
The castles we used in the United States, they're only 150 miles down the road. We can't do it as well as the original castles, so we created a fantasy castle.
Out of respect for French sensitivities, the name of the castle has been changed somewhat. Other parts of Euro Disney are still called Main Street USA and Adventureland and Frontierland, but hereabouts, Sleeping Beauty's castle is known as Le Château de la Belle au Bois Dormant, or something like that. A dragon lurking in the depths of the castle is another new wrinkle at Euro Disney. Plus, It's a Small World is sung in French, over and over and over again. There's an attraction called Alice's Curious Labyrinth, a maze, which really is tough to figure out. Discoveryland, based loosely on a Jules Verne theme, replaces the futuristic American Tomorrowland. The major new attraction here is a ride called Orbitron. And what Americans know as the Haunted Mansion is called the Phantom Manor here. Same basic scary effects, but most visitors scream in French. The opening day workforce totaled more than 14,000. Most were French, the rest from elsewhere in Europe, except for a handful of Americans, including the entire cast of the Wild West show. Eurodisney expects to draw 11 million visitors in the first year alone, even though some French intellectuals have begun to attack the arrival of Mickey Mouse and his cast of thousands as an imperialist assault on French culture itself by people who won't even allow wine to be served in the park. One theater director here in Paris has called Eurodisney a cultural Chernobyl, and a magazine writer is urging young people to riot and burn it down. Claude Sarraute, who writes a column for the newspaper Le Monde, thinks Disney's intellectual critics are just jealous.
They despise mass culture. They're very elitist, and it's the whole reason why the American pop culture, mass culture, has swept over Europe in such a fantastic way.
We would have alienated the French by giving the French what some very, very few French intellectuals have suggested we should have done. The French would have been alienated by us putting on berets and trying to be French.
In this battle between European intellectuals and Eurodisney, who's going to win?
Eurodisney, it's won already. You know, the day before it opened, there had been an inquiry, and the authorities were absolutely flabbergasted and horrified to find that 500,000 people, dragged by their kids, wanted to be there on opening day.
What's your bet? Is it going to succeed?
Well, let me put it this way. If it doesn't succeed, you'll be interviewing somebody else here soon. So I'm such an optimist about everything. I mean, this is good. This is our best work.
Now, nowhere near 500,000 people showed up opening day. In fact, French radio reports turnout may have been as light as 9,000 people. Of course, that could have been because of the threat of the big traffic jams or because the French transportation minister went on television and begged people not to come out all at once. The way he put it was, take it easy, Mickey's here for a long time. Now, what would Walt Disney have thought about all this? We'll find out when Good Morning America continues.
Fox is in France for the opening of Euro Disneyland yesterday, about 20 miles east of Paris. Let's get back to Steve.
Charlie, I'm here with Roy Disney. Roy's father, Roy, was Walt Disney's brother. The two of them founded the company together. Roy is currently vice chairman of the Walt Disney Company, and he's the guy, I guess, in charge of the revitalized animation department.
Well, we like to say that, yeah, and it certainly is revitalized.
It strikes me that a lot of what your uncle Walt did to build the empire was take European fairy tales and myths, modify them a bit, and make movies out of them. Made them very popular. Now they're coming back to Europe. What would he have thought about this?
Well, you know, that's the single hardest question to answer is what would Walt have thought about all of this? I know one thing, that he would show up and put his hands on his hips and look around and try to fix about 100 things that...
That was his way?
He was a very hands-on guy and wanted his way, you know, and there was always something that he had to do. So I know he'd do that. I think he'd be very pleased. Yeah. I think this is really an amazing place here. The level of sophistication in it is just astonishing as you walk around. The details, the quality of the construction, the quality of the people here that are working here is just great.
I want to ask you about the Disney Personal Grooming Code. I know that one of the big trade unions here in France is upset about the code, is threatening to sue or may have sued. The code that says women can't have short skirts, can't wear a lot of makeup, can't have long nails. Men can't have beards and mustaches. Now, I can't help but notice you have a mustache.
And I'm sitting here with a mustache, right? But
and Walt had one too. Now, why impose that on these people?
Well, we'd like to explain to them that they are in show business when they come on stage here, and that if you were in a play, you would wear a costume to suit the part that you're playing. And that's precisely the reasoning behind that kind of a code. It's not trying to impose our standards on them because they can go do anything they want in their spare time, but well, they're actors in a play.
Thank you very much, Roy Disney, and good luck. You guys did a nice job here. It's a great place.
Thank you. We're delighted.
Back to you, Charlie.
All right, thanks very much, Steve.